So, do you remember what we did yesterday? Do you remember? What did we do yesterday?
Slopes.
Slopes. What else we did? X-intercept, Y-intercept. Good. So you have a good memory. So a little recap. What we did, we memorized the equation of the slope if 2 points are given. And then we talked about 4 different types of slope and what are the format. For example, when you have a positive slope, a line is increasing. When you have a negative slope, line is decreasing. When you have a zero slope, which is a horizontal line, it means it's y equals some number. And when we have undefined slope, it's a vertical line. So its equation is x equals some number. And then we did few examples. And then we did some interesting questions. So do you remember what did I tell you about real life scenario? What is 0 divided by 5? How do you understand this? You have $0, you're dividing into 5 pieces. So you still have $0 because you have nothing to begin with. On the other hand, if you have 0 in the denominator, it means whatever you have, you're dividing that into 0 pieces. We can never divide anything into 0 pieces. It's not possible. So that's why anytime we try to divide anything by 0, the answer is undefined. Means it doesn't exist. We cannot divide anything by 0. And then we did some interesting question where they did not give us the y value to plug in our slope, but they gave us the equation. So based on the x value they gave us, we substitute that into the equation, get the y values, and then we substitute the slope to get the slope. So sometimes they will give us both x and y, sometimes they will not. When they don't, we have to find the y by ourselves. And then we talked about if we have an equation not in slope-intercept form, but they want us to find the slope. So all you have to do is convert whatever they give us into y equals mx plus b format. Why? Because in this format, it will see the slope clearly, and a bonus point is we also can see our y-intercept. So anytime they give us any type of line, we have remember 4 types of line. So 4 types of line, and they have 3 formats. So any format, any type of line they give us and ask us to find slope, all you have to do is solve for y. So we did one example, we found slope, and then the bonus we found was y-intercept, but we did not see x-intercept. So we set the y to be 0 and we solve for x. And then to graph, we plot x-intercept on the x-axis, y-intercept on the y-axis, and connect them into a straight line. Any question on any material from yesterday, from homework, from a quiz, anything? No question? Okay, then let's begin with this example. Find the slope and intercept. Try it by yourself because I just explained to you. And if you don't know how to do it by yourself, talk to your neighbor. Have a conversation with your neighbor. Or take a look at your notes from yesterday. Ready? Okay, let's do it together. Do we see the slope here directly? Is it given to us? Do we see the slope? We don't, right? Because in order to see the slope, we have to have y alone in one side. Otherwise, we cannot see the slope. So what is our goal? What do you have to do? Jeremiah?
On the side of the example.
So our goal is to get the y alone. So we need to get rid of everything we have next to y. And like I said in our first class, in order to get everything else from y, we always start from whatever is far from y. So 2x is the farthest from y, so we subtract 2x from both sides. So our goal here is to convert this into y equals mx plus b format, because that m is the slope. And extra, we get y-intercept. So we have on the other side, negative 2x plus 10. And what is left on the left side after subtracting 2x? Negative 6y. Common mistake, people like 6y, they forget it's a negative, not positive. And now what do you do to get the y alone? Divide. So we divide individually because we want to see all the numbers separately. So we get y equals, what happens to the double negative? Cancels. And we have 2/6. Can you simplify 2/6? By what number? 2. So that means you're dividing 2 by 2 and 6 by 2. So what do we have? 1/3. Oops. 1/3x. And what happens to the plus divided by minus? Plus, you're dividing by minus. Minus. Anytime you're multiplying or dividing two different signs, the result is always minus. You can think of this as one real life scenario. If we have a bowl of good fruit and one of them is a bad fruit, will the bad fruit become good or the good one becomes bad? In real life, if you have a bowl of, let's say, apple, many good apple, but one bad apple, okay, it's bad, it's rotten, it's going to get spoiled, bad. So because of the bad one, the good one will become bad, or because of the good one, the bad one become good. All of them becomes bad, right? So think the positive one is plus the good ones, and the bad one is a minus. So anytime you put plus and minus together in multiplication and division, it's always minus. Because of the minus, everything else turns into minus. Okay? So it's plus divided by minus, it has to be minus. And can you simplify 10 and 6? By what number? 2. So both of them are divisible by 2. So what do you get? 5/3. And now we are happy because this format is y equals m, x, and b. So that tells us what is our slope. How much is the slope? 1/3. And what is our y-intercept? -5/3. So we found slope and y-intercept easily, but they're asking for all the intercepts. That means you also have to find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, we need to do work. We set what to be 0? X or the y? Y. And we solve for x. So for this, the original one is the best. So we have 2x minus 6y equals 10. When we set y to be 0, it means the entire y becomes 0, or the entire y gets erased from our equation. So we have 2x 10, and then to get the epsilon, divide by 2. So how much is our x? 5. So we have everything. Now, they didn't ask us, but in the final exam, we have to do this. So let's do it anyway. When graphing it, our x-intercept is 5. So let's say this is 5. Y-intercept is -5/3. Well, -5/3 is a fraction. We don't know much about that. But can you estimate it's around what? Which number? 3 goes to 5 how many times? Once. So that means it's 1 and then a little bit more, right? So if this is -1 and this is -2, this -3.5 is -1 and then some more. Let's say you don't know exactly how much more, so you can just estimate somewhere here. Okay, so I don't know exactly how much is -5/3, but we just did an estimation. 3 goes to 5 only once, so it's definitely 1 and then a little bit more. So 1 and then a little bit more. And then it connect with a straight line. And this is the equation. This is the line of that equation. Question. One more of what? Similar equation. Okay. Let's say we have 2x minus 3y equals 8. So what do you want to find? Everything or only intercepts or only slope? Okay, go ahead. Find slope. Slope of this line. And when you do the slope, you'll find the y-intercept automatically. How was it feel till today? Good, bad, no comments? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Anyone? No. They actually did a research on PLTL outcome, and they found out that people who went to PLTL all the session, they did better in general compared to other students. So going to the PLTL, working with your peers, working with your mentor is actually a very helpful thing. Eventually you'll realize. Ready? Who has the sign-in sheet? Can you pass it around? They didn't sign in. Who didn't sign in? Everybody did? Everybody signed it? How come I always have 22, 24? 30 people signed up for this class. And I always had 23 or 24. What happens to the rest 6 or 7 people? Well, if they don't come, it's easier for us. We have a smaller classroom. It's a good thing for us. But it's a bad thing for them. They're missing so much fun in this class. Ready? Okay, so step 1. Who would like to tell me step 1? We are finding the slope. Step 1. Jeremiah. So we subtract 2x again. And we get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 8. Now what? What do you do next? Next step. Celia. Divide by negative 3. Both sides, let's do it individually. So we have y equals what over what? 2/3 x, and then minus 8/3. So Mustafa, what is our slope here? 2/3 is the slope. And what is this negative 8/3? Y-intercept. So we have no idea what is negative 8/3, but can you estimate it's approximately how much? 3 goes to 8 how many times? 2. So it's 2 and then a little bit more. So without calculator, we don't know exactly how much is it, but unfortunately, we're not allowed to use calculator, so you can only estimate during exam. Cool? Any question? Because we have a plus, you're dividing by minus. So it's like a good apple and a bad apple together. So it will become bad. Any other question? Not suddenly, we subtracted 2x from both sides because we want to get this thing alone. So our 2x is a negative in the front on the right side, and our 8 has no sign. It means it has a plus sign. On the graph, let's do something interesting. Let's show you a way of graphing it without finding the x-intercept. Okay? So what we are going to learn today is this. How can we graph a line only using the slope and y-intercept? So in order to do that, we have to remember a few rules. When you talk about slope, we have two things. One is on the top, one is on the bottom. So if your slope has a plus number on the top, we are going to walk from the y-intercept upwards. If your slope has a plus sign on the bottom, that means once you go up, we are going to go right from that step. And then we have another rule. If your slope has a minus number on the top, we have to walk downward from the y-intercept. And if we have a minus sign on the bottom, on the slope, then you have to walk left from the from what we walked first. Okay, so that's how we walk our slope. So to remember, plus means up, minus means bottom on the top. And on the bottom, plus means you're going to the right, and minus means you're going to the left. So that's why slope is called rise over run. So whether we rise or go down, and whether we go left or right from the denominator portion. So what does that mean? In our graph, so in our equation, we have a y-intercept negative 2 point something, right? So let's say, suppose, to make our life easier, suppose our y-intercept is negative 2. Okay? So suppose for now, our y-intercept is only negative 2. So in order to graph using the slope and y-intercept, we have to start with the y-intercept. Plot your y-intercept. So this is y, this is x, and somewhere here we have negative 2. So this is our first point, negative 2. And now from this negative 2, we are going to walk our slope. So our slope here is 2 over 3. Both of them are positive, right? That means we are going to walk 2 units up and 3 units right, since they both are positive. From negative 2, we are going to walk 1 up, 2 up. So 1 up, 2 up, we end up being at the origin. And now from that origin, we are going to walk 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. So 1 to the right, 2 to the right, 3 to the right, we end up being here. So we didn't find the x-intercept, but when you walked, they gave us the x-intercept. And now you can connect the 2 points and then draw the line. So this is if our slope was 2. But now our slope is not exactly 2, it's a little bit more than 2. So what, in order to graph precisely or more accurately, we know our y-intercept is somewhere here, right? Between negative 2 and negative 3. Because negative 2 and a little bit more. So negative 2 and a little bit more. How much more? I don't know. So let's say this is a y-intercept. We're going to do the exact same thing. From this y-intercept, we're going to walk 2 up. So we have to have the exact same length. So from here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. So it's 2 up, somewhere between 0 and negative 1. And from here, we are going to walk 3 to the right. So 1 right, 2 right, 3 right. It's somewhere here. So the green one is actually our real one. Y 2x minus 3y equals 8. The red one is an approximation because we assumed it's a whole number. But the green one is more precise, more accurate. Okay, so if you have y-intercept and only slope, and you don't have your x-intercept, you don't have to find the x-intercept. You start from your y-intercept and walk your slope based on the sign. If the top is plus, you go up. If the top is minus, you go down from that y-intercept. Then once you go up or down, you go left or right, depending on what sign you have on the bottom. If the bottom is plus, you go right. If the bottom is minus, you go to the left. And I walked forward. You can also walk backward. I'm going to tell you that a little bit later. But for now, let's do one more example. graph this using slope and intercept. So what is our slope here? -3. But we want as a fraction. Can we make -3? Can you rewrite it as a fraction? If you put 1 on the denominator, it becomes a fraction. Everything has 1 on the denominator. Even we have 1 below us. Okay. So everything has 1 below them. So now you're happy because we have a fraction. Now the question is, our numerator has a negative sign on the top. Which direction we have to walk from the y-intercept? Down. The top is only up, down. Okay, top always up, down, always. So minus means you have to go down. And what sign we have on the 1? We have plus, so we have to go right. Now, what is our y-intercept? How much is the y-intercept? -2. So, x, y, we start from -2 here. These are starting point of our journey. Now, from this -2, which direction we are going? Down 3 and then right 1. So down 1, down 2, down 3, 1, 2, 3. We want down 3 whole units and then 1 to the right. So from here, 1 to the right, it's somewhere here. We have our 2 points, so we can connect and draw the line. Or if you want, you can go 3 more down, 1 more right to get another point. You can keep walking your slope as many times as you want. Usually when you have 2 points, we are fine. Now, if I want to walk more, I don't have space, so I cannot walk more. But what I can do is, instead of walking downward, I can actually walk upward. Cool. All you have to do is mirror it. We don't need to walk. So here we want 3 down. If you mirror 3 down, what it becomes? 3 up. And then here you mirror 1 right, so it becomes 1 left. Good, you guys are very smart. So from here, 1 up, 2 up, and then 3 up. We end up here at 1. And from here, go 1 left, which is somewhere here. So see? And I have more space. I can walk even more if I want. Let's walk more. It's fun. 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1 left, somewhere here. See, on the top side, I have more space. So if you want, you can walk more. Now, finally, with whatever you have, we have to connect everything with a straight line. All these points. Ta-da. So this is the equation of the line. And now you can erase your steps if you want. I'm going to keep it so that later when you see, you can understand your work. Who is confused about walking? Then you try one. Graph using your slope and y-intercept, which is much easier than finding x-intercept. It's y equals, let me write it bigger. Y equals -x plus 3. This is the equation. Ready? Okay, so what is our slope? Mustafa. -1. But we want fraction over 1. So which direction we are walking? Down and then right. Our y is exactly same as the last one. What is our y-intercept? +3. So 1, 2, 3. And now what do you do from there? We go down 1, right 1. And if you want to walk more, you can go 1 more down, 1 more right. 1 more down, 1 more right. You can keep walking as many times as you want. But let's say I want to walk this way. So what would be our step? From the y-intercept, 1 up and then 1 left, somewhere here. So 1 up, 1 left. And then connect everything. It should be straight. Assume it's straight, okay? I didn't have my grids, I just estimated, which was bad. Any question? Okay, now we are going the other direction. What if the line is given to us and they want us to find the equation? The line is here. What would be the equation of the line?
From some beach point back and forth.
So we're going to count our boxes true, but which format is easier to start with? The slope-intercept format or the standard format? Slope-intercept format. If we start from here, our life will be easier because the slope-intercept format is y equals mx plus b. It means all you have to find is what is the b and what is the m. Then we have our line. So let's start here. Y equals something x plus something. Now, which one is easier to find, the slope or y-intercept? Y-intercept. How much is the y-intercept? Good. So we found one of them too. And now how can you find slope? Start from your y-intercept just the way we did before. We walked our slope. So from here, keep walking your slope and see how much you have to go to the next point. So from this one, this is our next, but it's not whole number. You cannot use this one. This is our next point. Also, this is not a whole number. So it's not a good idea to use this one. Look at this one. It's a whole number, right? It's a whole number for x and it's a whole number for y. That means notice how you're walking from here to here. We like this one because this is a whole number we have and this is another whole number we have. So when you have a whole number, the corner of your grid is stuck. So now tell me from y-intercept to here, how you're walking. Which direction? 1 down means -1. And then which direction? 3 to the right means what? +3 or -3? +3. That's it. This is the equation of the line. We start from y-intercept. From y-intercept, we walk to a good corner from the y-intercept. We can stop here, but we have to estimate, and we are not good at estimation. So instead of estimating, we have to have a whole number. So we keep walking until we have a whole number to stop by. So we found slope-intercept form. But now they want us to rewrite that in standard form. Do you remember what is standard form? Standard form. How do you write standard form of a line? Nobody remembers? Mohammed. AX plus BY equals C. It means bring X term and Y term next to one another, leave your constant alone. So can you convert this into standard form? Can you do that? So this is our, let me erase this, we don't need that. This is our slope-intercept form. We want to convert this into this format. What do we have to do? In this format, do you have X and Y next to one another? No. But standard format said, hey, make X and Y next to one another. So how can you bring this X next to the Y? What do you have to do? No, we don't care about 2. We only care about the X term and the Y term. X and Y term, they have to be together next to one another. Like for example, you are sitting here, but your friend is sitting somewhere there. And standard form said, well, you guys have to sit together. So how can you bring your friend next to you? Jeremiah. We have to add this to both sides, and then the X term will go to the left, from right will go to the left. So all you have to do is add 1/3x, 1/3x, both sides. So right side cancel out, and we have on the left 1/3x plus the y equals 2. One over 3x plus the y equals 2. And now we fulfill this condition. X term and y term are next to one another, and the constant, the number, is alone on the other side. So we have X term plus Y term and constant. We should be happy, right? We fulfill the requirement. But for some reason, they actually don't like to have fraction in standard form. So we are not wrong, but we are not complete either. What can we do so that you don't have to see this fraction? Any idea? How can you get rid of the fraction? Convert into what? They don't like decimal. They only want whole numbers. So we have problem only with the denominator, right? If you don't want to see any denominator, what can you do so that you don't have to see the denominator? In order to get rid of that, you have to multiply by 3. Good. So we are going to multiply by 3. But math is fair. Math says, hey, you cannot only multiply the x term by 3. If you multiply the x term by 3, you also have to do what? Multiply everything else by 3. So we have to multiply y by 3. We have to multiply 2 by 3. We are multiplying everything by 3 only because we don't want to see this 3 on the bottom. We hate that. So we multiplied. As a result, the bottom 3, top 3 cancel out. We have no more denominators, no more fractions. And now we love this. We have only x left, and we have 3y and 6 on the other side. And now it's complete. We have a standard form where it don't have any fraction. So usually the standard form doesn't have any fraction, or our x term is always positive, usually. So if you have your x negative, do something to make it positive. If you have a fraction anywhere, somewhere in your equation, do something so that the denominator is no more there. Okay? Any question? So I love this question. You'll see one of these in the exam. You may not see this in the final exam, may not, but definitely you'll see this in the in-course exam. I'm going to give you a line, and you have to find slope-intercept form as well as the standard form. Okay? Any question before you move on? No? So with this, you're done at 3.4. So you have Monday midnight, section 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 homework due. And also one quiz. It's based on 2 sections. I don't remember which 2 sections. So one quiz, 3 homework due by Monday midnight. And now 3.5. 3.5 is a long section because we have to find this. So what you're going to do in 3.5 is, from the previous sections, we know how to find slope. We know how to find equation. We know how to convert one equation into another equation. So we have all the background knowledge about lines. Now 3.5 says, I'm giving you some scenarios. Based on the scenarios, find the equation of the line for each scenario. First scenario, 2 points are given, find the equation of the line. Second scenario, the slope and 1 point is given, find the equation of the line. Third scenario, 1 point is given, find the horizontal line that goes to the point and the vertical line that goes to the point. Next scenario, what is the slope of a line? Sorry, what is the slope of the parallel line from a given line or perpendicular line? And finally, finding the equation of the parallel and perpendicular line. So 5 scenarios we are going to learn in 3.5. That's why 3.5 is a little bit longer than other sections. Now let the fun begin. First scenario. we have 2 points. What would be the equation of the line? So I wrote down all the steps. So in the final exam, you'll have this scenario, the question and then multiple choice. You have to show all the details work and then pick the correct multiple choice. So half of the question in in-class exam will be similar. Question, multiple choice, but you must show the correct work to get the full credit. If work is missing or wrong work is shown, then no point, 0. So it doesn't have any partial credit. So steps. Since we have 2 points, obviously we can find the slope first. So we are going to find the slope using the slope formula. Once we find the slope using the slope formula, we are going to substitute the slope and one of the points. If we could plug in this one or we could plug in that one, it doesn't matter. One of the point and the slope, we are going to plug in into point slope format. If you observe all the multiple choice, they are in which format? Point slope format, slope-intercept format, or standard format? Standard format. So once we plug in here, we cannot stop. We have to rearrange everything to convert them into standard format. That's all you have to do. So 2 steps initially, and the rest are just process to get to what you have. First, find the slope in the slope formula. Next, plug in the slope and 1 point into point slope format. Rewrite to get whatever they have. One of them is the answer. So, who remembers slope formula? The formula for slope, m equals something divided by something. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's why I said you have to memorize, because you're going to use this a lot. Now we have 2 points. Let me write them here for convenience. 8, negative 3, and negative 7, 2. Which one you want to be your x1, y1? The first one or the second one? It doesn't matter. Let's say the first one, since it's written first. So this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. That means what do you have? What over what? Sorry, what minus what? 2 minus negative 3. Perfect. 1 minus is from this formula, and another minus is from y1. And we divided by what minus what? Negative 7 minus 8. One thing you have to remember is that whatever is x, y2, the number next to that must be x2. So you cannot switch their position. If you write this first, you have to write this first on the denominator. Okay. So what happens when you end up getting double negative multiplying? Positive. So 2 plus 3, what is negative 7 minus 8? Negative 15. Double negative means you keep the negative, but actually add the numbers. And what is 2 plus 3? So we have 5 over negative 15. Can we simplify this? By what number? 5. So we can divide both of them by 5. So what is our slope? Negative 1 over 3. So we have our slope, we have 1 point. So what we do next is we go to our point slope format. Y minus y1 slope times x minus x1. So step 1, step 2. In here, we're going to substitute everything else except x and y. Because see, our equation has x and y and everything else a number. So we are going to keep x and y and substitute everything else. So y minus, what is our y1? -3. See, y1 is -3. Equals, what is our slope? -1/3 x minus, what is our x1? 8. So we have x1 8, y1 -3. We substitute that. We found the slope. We substitute that. So we are done finding the equation of the line. So this is the equation of the line. But we cannot stop because of the multiple choice. So what do we do with the double negative? Positive. Y plus 3, -1/3. Let's distribute here. We have -1/3 x minus, and then we have -1/3 times -8. -1/3 times x, so -1/3 x, and then -1/3 times the -8. So -1/3 times the -8. Let me actually keep my red so that you can see it's substituted. So we are happy here, we are happy here. The question is here. When you multiply, let me write it like silly. When you multiply a fraction with a whole number, how do you multiply? We only multiply the top actually, and we keep our bottom same. That's the rule. So let me do it here. We have -1/3 times -8. The math rule says only multiply the top, keep your bottom. You know why? Because 8 has invisible bottom here. So we multiply all the top, put it on the top, and we multiply the bottom, put it on the bottom. That's why we'll multiply the top, but keep the bottom. So we have y plus 3 equals -1/3 x. So what do we have? -1 times -8. How much we get? +8. And we have 3 times 1. 3. We should be done, but the multiple choice doesn't have this option. So we have to do more. If you observe, you notice that none of the choice has fraction. But look, what do we have? Fraction, denominators. So let's get rid of the denominator first to make our life easy. How can I get rid of the 3 from the denominator?
I also like.
If you divide, the denominator becomes even bigger. So it's a division, right? 3 is on the bottom. What is the opposite of the division? Multiplication. So 3 is dividing here. We don't want the 3. That means we need to multiply by 3. But see, math is fair. If you do something in one term, you have to do the same thing to everything. So we need to multiply this by 3. We have to multiply this by 3. We have to multiply this by 3. I didn't even have space. Let me do it on the next page. Let's do it here. Y plus 3 equals negative 1/3 x plus 1/8. We definitely want to multiply this by 3 because we want to cancel this 3. We also have to multiply this by 3 because we have to cancel the 3. But math doesn't let us do only one side. It tells us to do everything. So we need to multiply this by 3 and this by 3. Multiply every term by 3. These 3, they're not useful, but we have to put them. But these 3, we must put them to get rid of our denominators. So now what do we have? 3y plus 9. And what do you have on the other side? The 3 cancel out, right? So what is left? Negative x plus 8. And now we are happy. No more fraction. We love it. Look at the format. They have only number one side. Everything else other side. So if you want to keep up with the format, what is our next step? There are multiple steps. What do you want to do? They want us to bring x next to y and constant alone. So what can you do? What do you want to do? Come on, guys. We can bring our x from right to the left. So what do you have to do that? Add it. So we add x, add x. So we have x plus 3y plus 9 equals 8. We are very close. What do we need to do now? We don't need this 9. So we kick it out. And we have x plus 3y equals -1. And now we are happy. We have x and y one side, number to the other side. So we go and check multiple choice. Which one is the correct answer? We have x plus 3y equals -1. X plus 3y is -1, the last one. So we circle the last one. That's all you have to do in the exam. Show correct work and then pick the correct multiple choice. Which part is confusing? What do you think you're definitely gonna forget?
Like to write 3y plus.
They're same thing, but just ordered, let's see. So if you write y plus 3y plus x, can you find y plus x, 3y plus x here anywhere? No. That means you can see that you have to switch them back. Anything else you think you're gonna forget? Any comments on this? What I think you're gonna forget is this. When you multiply a fraction with a non-fraction, the common mistake is they multiply top and bottom. So most people write 8 times this, 8 times that. As a result, the whole thing is wrong. So it's a common mistake. Anything else? Probably no. So be careful about a common mistake. I have more space. So let me get rid of that. What is that? Okay, one interesting question. Do it. Find the equation of the line. This time there is no multiple choice. But they're telling you that the format has to be standard. Means x and y together, no fraction, no negative for x. And this one is actually much easier. If you can see the trick. Do you guys remember what's the format for x-intercept? So the x-intercept point, it has x number, but y is 0. What's the format for y-intercept? X is 0, but y is a number. So we can connect that information with this, your life is easy. But if we cannot connect, no problem. Just follow what we did. Find the slope and then write the equation. You don't have to work alone. Talk to your neighbor. Cooperate. Collaborate. Who definitely hates math here? Like, absolutely hate. You do? Really? But you don't sound like it. Who absolutely love math here? Jeremiah. Anyone else? Good. Me too. I love math. Easy math. I hate hard math. Some math are really hard. I hate that. But the easy math, I love them. And the rest of you in the middle, if you can do it, you like it. If you cannot do it, you hate it. Like that? Yeah. Math actually needs lots of practice. The more you practice, the more you become perfect, and the more you love it. So in our country, we have to practice a lot. Every day there are like 20 to 30 questions for one topic. Do it, do it, do it, do it. So we keep doing it until that gets stuck in our brain. As a result, we know all the steps. And if you know all the steps, then you can do any math. And when you can do any math, that's the love you feel. When you can do something like, oh, I got it. That's the feeling of love. So try your homework with your notebook open in front of you. Do the questions similar to the questions I did in class. Do them honestly, okay? By looking at your notebook. For the harder ones, sure, no problem. Go ahead for the math, no problem with that. But instead of just cheating, you can actually act like ChatGPT. Show me the details how to do this question. And then it will show you all the details. If you don't understand any step, ask it. Why did you write this step? Why this step is true? What's wrong with my step? Have a conversation with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is actually very sucks at math, but if you point out its mistake, it can fix itself. Are you guys ready? Okay, who would like to be my volunteer? Okay, it's time to fix. Is it Miley? Miley? Okay, Miley, tell me your first step. What did you do? Slope. Zero minus 4 -2 minus 0. So what that gives us? -4 over -2, which is +2. So negative cancel out. 4 is bigger than 2, so when you divide, you get a whole number. Okay, Miley did the first step correctly. Janisha? Okay. No problem. Let me help you. Once you find a slope, what do you think is our next step? Based on the example we did before. So this is the example we did before. We found the slope, and then what? So we go back and write y minus y1 slope x minus x1. So y minus what? Y minus 4, okay. Equals? What's the slope? 2. We found slope in our first step. And then x minus? So this is in y1. That means what is your x1 is what? 0. So it's x minus 0. We're almost done, but not quite, because it says the final answer has to be standard. So what do you think our next step is? Someone, anyone? You can, but you have X dollar. I'm asking you to give me $0. How much you have now? No, you have $2. Okay, you have $2. I'm telling you to give me $0. How much you have now? Still 2. So what is X minus 0? 2x. Because we add 0, subtract 0 is nothing. So instead of distributing, make things easier. X minus 0 is simply x. And we still have our 2 in the front. Y minus 4. And now what?
Just move over some x.
So do we add 2x or subtract 2x? We subtract 2x from both sides. So there's space here. We have negative 2x plus y minus 4 equals. What do you have on the other side? 0. And then what? So we have x and y together, but they have a third wheeler, 4. We don't want that. So we get rid of the 4 by adding. So we have negative 2x plus y equals 4. This should be our final answer, but usually we don't start with a negative x. But in here, we started with a negative 2x. What can we do so that the negative turns into a positive? What trick we know? We are so smart, right? We can do anything.
Would you turn it?
Yeah, in the process, the other things will change. But our main purpose is this one. We're to convert this -2 into a +2. What can we do? We can move it to the other side or simply multiply the entire equation by -1. And now you're happy that -2x turned into +2x. Well, in this process, the rest of them becomes negative. But we don't care. because usually we want to start our day with something positive. Similarly, we have to start our equation with something positive, not negative. So this is the method by following the first method. But like I said, it's actually an interesting question and much simpler. Why? What is this point? Y-intercept. And we know our slope too, right? So second method. First, we find slope 2. Next, we know our y-intercept is 4. Using these two information, we can write y equals mx plus b, right? So y equals 2x plus 4. We want our x to be positive, so why moving x? Just move y. We don't want to move our x, it's already positive. So we can subtract the y from both sides. And we also don't need the 4 as a third wheeler. So we can subtract 4 from both sides. So y from the left cancel out. 4 from the right cancel out. And we have -4 equals, I don't have space, let me write it here. -4 equals 2x minus y. In other words, it's same as 2x minus y is -4. The exact same thing what we have here. So it's a shortcut. If you understand what's going on, you can do any shortcut. So in this shortcut, I use y equals mx plus b format because they already gave us our y-intercept. And then I just switch around the things I need to do instead of having extra multiply by -1. Are you guys confused with the second method? If you're confused, ignore it. But if you're okay, try to remember this because in the exam, you don't have much time. So you want to use as many shortcuts as possible, as many valid shortcuts as possible. So these are valid shortcuts. Which is invalid is doing slope mentally is invalid. You cannot do it mentally. You must do your work. Once you have your slope, you can write this question, this line directly. And then from here, you can actually jump to this line. These are valid. So you cannot skip anything crucial, anything important in your process. But whatever small steps, you can omit them. So we're supposed to do 5 scenarios. We did only 1 scenario today. In our next class, we are going to do the rest 4 scenarios from 3.5. So probably on Tuesday, we'll be finishing 3.5. And then on Thursday, we're going to do 3.6. Okay? And remember, your first exam is coming. February something. Let me see when. February 14th? Valentine's Day. So this will be my Valentine's gift for you in math exam. Oh. Yeah. So have a good weekend, everyone. See you all Tuesday. And don't forget to do your homework.
So on the final, that wouldn't be correct. You get -2x plus y equals 4. Or would you get
It will
partial?
be correct, but it will be multiple choice. You're not going to see -2x.
Does it always gotta be positive? All right. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.